Hey guys, Calvin-YGO here. Konami has recently updated how they are handling rulings and procedures for Time Wizard events at official Konami sanctioned events like regionals, nationals, and YCS events. And I would like to discuss these changes purely from the GOAT player perspective. I know a lot of content creators are focused on how this changes Edison purely and only briefly touch on GOAT, if at all, but I want to make this video addressing how it affects us as the GOAT format community, because someone has to have the GOAT format focused take. So what are these changes? For those who aren't aware, Konami has announced that starting with their North American World Championship qualifier event this year, they have changed how Time Wizard / retro formats work at their events. To quote them directly, current game mechanics and current card text will be used. Okay, but what does that mean realistically? We'll break down both parts, current game mechanics and current card text. Current game mechanics mostly boil down to two things: when effects can be activated by the turn player, and card rulings. Right now in GOAT format, if you successfully summon a monster that has an ignition effect, monsters like Tribe-Infecting Virus, you as the turn player have the priority to choose to activate its effect, to which your opponent can then respond. With these changes, you do not have this turn player priority, so your opponent can respond to the summon of your monster before you have a shot to activate its effect. This both simultaneously nerfs and buffs a lot of cards. For the nerfs, you have cards like Tribe-Infecting Virus that I touched on earlier, Exiled Force, Chaos Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and even more niche cards like Paladin of White Dragon and Amazon Archer. For buffs, you have cards like the Discard Traps, Raigeki Break, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Book of Moon gets insane. Ruling changes are another big thing that change how the game is fundamentally played. Right now, we have a great resource in goatformat.com that has all the rulings that we need to accurately play our game. Unfortunately, once you're in a Konami sanctioned event, these rulings are mostly out of the window. Royal Oppression becomes so much better in GOAT format due to its ability to respond to effects that special summon within the same chain. Did you know that Snatch Steal gets worse though? In current advanced format, if you Snatch Steal a monster and flip its battle position, to be set with something like a Tsukiyomi or Book of Moon, that actually makes it so that your opponent gets control of the monster again. Discarding Thunder Dragons just to put Lights Engrave. That is also not a legal play anymore, because Fail to Find is not a mechanic in the current advanced form of Yu-Gi-Oh! You need to have a valid target for those searches, even though the card says up to 2, and technically 0 is up to 2. Current card text is another big thing that changes this format. Back in 2005, honestly, we have pretty broken cards that are balanced by the fact that, in my opinion, the card pool is really small. So as time progressed, these cards got more and more broken, right? And received time on the ban list. And for them to come off of the ban list, they had to receive what's called an errata. The erratas change how the card fundamentally works sometimes and make the cards sometimes be unplayable. Most erratas generally are nerfs, and funnily enough, every single GOAT format card that has received an errata has been made worse. Not saying that I wouldn't welcome some of these erratas, right? A lot of these cards that received erratas, Demok, Catapult Turtle, Rescue Cat, they've never been used for good. I'm calling out these Rescue Cat combo players, these RGT players, Spell Economics, FTK, whatever else annoying OTK. I'm calling you guys out. These cards enabled your degenerate, sometimes really unfair strategies, right? As a Chaos Turbo player, I may be biased, right? But the nerfs / erratas to Serpent, Sanyan, Night Assailant are completely unnecessary. Brain Control is another example of a card that gets fundamentally worse, as it can only target monsters that are able to be normal summoned or set. The second to last card that got touched by these erratas, it's actually kind of funny because it's twin-headed behemoth. So in Go format, twin-headed behemoth is a soft once per duel, while the errated version makes it a hard once per duel. So it's pretty funny. I find great humor in that at the very least. But the last errated card that we have to talk about, it's Ring of Destruction. Right now, with the Go format text of the card, it is one of the most, if not the most powerful card in the format. It's a card that we have to play around because of its power to end the game while also being a clutch piece of removal. With the changes, it gets so much worse. It becomes honestly kind of unplayable. Only being able to target a monster with equal or less attack than your opponent, only being able to use it on your opponent's turn, taking the damage first. It's to prevent ties, but still, not being able to ring something on my turn kind of takes away some of the strategic elements of Ring of Destruction. For example, against Panda Burn, they have an Ojama Trio against you, right? If you need to open up a monster zone, you can ring an Ojama token, take the 300 damage, and then be able to use another zone. There are ways that this card, as powerful and as broken as it is, does lose strategic value. I fucking hate that. So how does this impact us as a community, you may ask? If you play purely online, to be completely frank with you, it doesn't affect you. Online play is going to remain the exact same, and this will all just be noise to you. However, if you play paper like I do, and you go to these regional level or higher events, that means you will be forced to play under these new rules. Could these new rules be interesting? Potentially, but that's probably the most hopium-fueled answer that I could possibly give you. I am not a huge fan of these changes, with my biggest reason being that it goes against the spirit of the format. Time Wizard / retro formats are supposed to use the mechanics of the time. That's literally the entire point. Otherwise, what are we even doing? We play these formats to relive them, to use these nostalgic cards as they were intended at the time. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. Konami knows this. I do appreciate the recently hyper-aggressive, high-rarity reprints we've been getting in sets like Bonanza and Stampede. Please, please, please give us a higher rarity Sea Sword, please. I am begging you. I do not want to spend hundreds of dollars for these stupid ultras. Like, these golds that I'm playing are getting really, really, really ugly to look at. Please, 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 just give me a Plat Secret. I just need a Plat Secret Sea Sword. Please, Konami, please, please. But changing the rules at your events for these retro formats is a huge slap in the face to us paper players. So now, why are they doing these changes? A potential reason for these changes could be judge staff. At these YCS or regional level events or nationals, whatever, usually they stick the new judges in a Time Wizard pod. It gets them experience, it puts them in a lower pressure environment. It's a really good kind of training ground for judges. When you are playing in a GOAT pod at a YCS, you call a judge. You're usually getting someone who has their first, second, whatever event. They don't want to dedicate another head judge for Time Wizard, and that's separate from the main event. I think they just want to unite everything into the same rules so that judges don't have to be memorizing the different rulings for different formats and different time periods, and everything is just fluid because everything is just the same. Another reason why I think they are implementing these changes is due to how people are getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Most people are finding out about Yu-Gi-Oh! Again through things like Master Duel or the Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck that came out a few months ago. Konami, I assume, wants that pipeline to stay as smooth as possible by trying to make rulings as consistent as possible for players that come back this way and find out or are interested in retro formats. Alright, but to be completely fair to them, the first time that I heard about turn player priority, I thought that shit was made up. Because it sounds like it was made up by a kid on the playground who really wanted their card effect to go off before it was destroyed. Like, no, like, I have the priority to use my tribe to wipe out your scapegoats. Like, I'm gonna discard the card now. Like, it does sound made up. Low-key, like, that's just me though. The last reason that I could think of that they possibly could have to change this is that Konami of Japan just hates Time Wizard. Like, they just hate Time Wizard with a passion. As a subsidiary of a Japanese company, Konami of North America, their hands are kind of tied. If Konami of Japan tells them to do something, they are pretty much forced to implement that change. Us Time Wizard players, us Go format players, we don't really do anything for Konami monetarily. We sit there in the corner playing the game that we've been playing for 20 years with our 20-year-old cards, with the 20-year-old rules. Because we don't make Konami money, they want to kill us off. They want to force us to play advanced format. They want us to spend money on boxes. They want us to chase after these $90, $100, $110 hand traps that are format warping in the current state of the game. They want us playing this newer version of the game strictly so that they can profit off of us. That might be the most out-of-pocket reason for the change, but it's something that I want to definitely bring up as a potential reason. Also, my tinfoil hat theory is that they want to kill off all retro formats officially, so they wouldn't have to reprint these like hard to get cards or even like do the rarity bumps for cards, that haven't ever gotten like a higher rarity print. But that's just me. So what can we do to change it? For one, if you're planning on attending the NAWCQ this year for any reason, please fill out the survey that they're going to be giving out and say that you do not agree with these changes to the Time Wizard formats. If you plan on attending any YCS events to play Time Wizard formats, maybe consider not. I personally was really excited for YCS Anaheim because I love attending live events, meeting new people, seeing really rare cards, trading for them, playing the game we love. These are all reasons why I attend YCS events when I can. But unless they revert these changes, I don't think I'm ever attending any YCS or even regional ever again. If they hopefully see that participation in Time Wizard drastically drops because of these changes, they may be pressured to revert these changes. Also, really quick, if you still do go to these events, please do not harass any of the judges or anything for this. They are literally just there to judge for the love of the game. And I assume that privately, a lot of these judges are also against these changes. But again, the judges don't have anything to really do with it, so please do not harass them. Another way to hopefully get these changes reverted would be to support third-party organizers who run GOAT format events. Honestly, just keep supporting GoFormat.com. They do fantastic work. They run amazing online and in-person tournaments. If you have not participated in an online or in-person tournament, I highly encourage you to do so, because Konami does keep an eye on these kinds of events, believe it or not. And if attendance grows, they will absolutely notice. The only silver lining for OTS stores right now that consistently run Time Wizard events, shout out my stores Tubby TCG, Rare and Sleeveless, Collectible Exchange, is that the official policy as of this video has not changed for how the tournaments are supposed to be ruled. So for now, nothing changes for locals. That doesn't mean it's always going to be this way. Konami can always change their minds to update the rulings and decisions, and potentially even threaten the OTS status of stores that don't follow their rules. If Konami does down the road decide to do this, this would be the end of retro format paper play on a local weekly basis as we know it. If that happens, this channel kind of dies. So Konami, let's not go there, please. Thank you. Thank you. All in all, these changes represent a horrible and frankly unbelievable misunderstanding of what makes Time Wizard formats fun and appealing. Konami are really dropping the ball on this specifically with this out of touch, frankly, even ignorant decision hidden in the policies of a tournament. I really hope that they realize what we all play retro formats for and just reverse the decision. If anyone from Konami is watching, I urge you guys to just rescind the decision. At the end of the day, we all just want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And we want to play it however we find it the most fun. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please let me know. Otherwise, feel free to share or subscribe, or whatever I'm supposed to say right now as a YouTuber. But my name is Calvin-YGO, and I'm just a guy. Peace.